Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is Maggie from Nurse Training and Advocacy, and I am so happy to be with you again for lesson number 7. As you know, I'm giving you some teasers, and I've done classes from 1 through, we're going to do 1 through 10. But remember that this is going to be part of a more condensed and yet expanded version where it's going to be like a self-paced learning for new supervisors and managers. And again, I want to do a disclaimer. I'm not here to teach you about policies, procedures, organizational chart in your particular company. This is the company orientation. They're going to show you the processes, how they want things done. What I want to teach you is how to make your job easier by improving your soft skills. These are skills that may not be so tangible, but there are things that are going to develop you into a better human being where you can transfer those traits and attributes that you've developed through the course and by practicing different things to make you relate better, more relatable. Because a lot of what people complain about in managers is that they don't know how to talk to people, they don't know how to counsel people, they don't know how to show love and appreciation. They're like a taskmaster. I mean, you can tell people to do this, do that because that's your job. But remember, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I know it doesn't come naturally to some people. Some people are more touchy-feely, whereas, some people are kind of handoffish. I don't think that creates a huge difference because you're going to have to know what people are, how they're going to respond to you. Just like maybe if you have 5 children and you know certain things work with this child and it doesn't work with that child. Same thing, except you multiply that by 30, 50, 100, however people that you are responsible for. Again, I want to reiterate that as a supervisor, your job is just to make sure that the job gets done, the job of caring for people, the job of providing care. You're not up here where you're setting mission statements and organizational goals. That's way up here. You're kind of like in the middle. Your unit manager is looking at budget, she's looking at staffing, she's looking at a lot of different things. But you're like close to the troop. You are there to make sure that the work gets done. That's what a supervisor does. Unit manager have kind of a bit more responsibilities up here. So you are so important. The manager can hire people, but you have a lot to do into whether they stay. You help create an environment where they feel valued. And I think now with the shortage, a lot of people are becoming a little bit more intentional about saying thank you, showing some appreciation somehow. And people get tired of the pizza and the Panera bread breakfast, during Nurses Week or CNA Week. They respond more to the more subtle things, a cup of coffee here and there, telling somebody, go take 5 minutes, I'll wet your patience. Even on some unit, people would pull together their PTOs to give it to a coworker who is going to a medical emergency. Things like that, those are intangible, but they mean so much and they speak to that person. The way you compliment someone in public, you could say, you put it on the board and you say, Mrs. So-and-so said Janique helped her with this, and everybody passes by and they read it and they go, congratulations, Janice. Okay? You always praise in public. But when you have to do some coaching and some what's the word I'm looking for, and you want to share something with that person that is not so positive, you want to do it in private, right? So today I want to focus on customer service. So you've taken my assessment, you got what it takes, you love people, you love to lead, and you don't shy away from responsibilities because this job carries a lot of responsibility. You have to have a thick skin or learn to develop a thick skin, which means you're not fazed by what somebody says to you. The first time a CNA mouth is off at you, you're not going to say, okay, I'm done. You pack your bag and you leave. The first time a patient spits at you or throws something at you and you're like, oh, I didn't come here for this. And then you walk off. You know, there are a lot of things that happen in this environment in our job, especially now with COVID and they feel trapped. You know, they can't get out. They can't be with their friends. The families can't visit. You know, it's starting to loosen up a little bit. But the whole trauma of the last 2 years is catching up with some people. So your dementia patients are going to respond differently. They're going to get worse. The dog is outside, so she's hitting the glass. So customer service. What is customer service? You know, there are a lot of definitions of how you provide customer service. First of all, let's define what that means. You're providing a service to someone in the hope that they're going to be satisfied, right? So if somebody comes onto your unit, you want that person, let's say they come for rehab, you want them to have a good experience so that when they leave, you know, they'll send a note saying, oh, I want to thank my therapist, my aide, my nurse, the food was good, everybody was kind, I feel better, now I'm walking again. Those are the kinds of feedback that we as managers want. But it doesn't always happen like that, right? So as a supervisor, you have to demonstrate customer service in practice to your staff so that they can say, oh, okay. And they don't even have to say anything. But it's like a natural thing. Kindness is catching. People observe you being kind, and they tend to be kind to each other and to the patients. You've heard before, if I treat my employees right, they're going to treat my customers right. So who's your customer? Of course, your customer is the person you're providing a service to in exchange for something else, right? I'm selling something, you pay me a price, and you appreciate it. How I sell it to you, how I provide that service is called customer service, right? I mean, you didn't have to be kind, because if they need what you have and you have what you have and you want their money, you could just say, boom. That's a transaction, right? You don't have to have customer service. Customer service is that added layer of nicety that you add to the service that you provide. That's customer service, okay? I was in Africa this past year, and a lot of people who've been on the continent, especially if they've been over here, because in America, in the Western world, we grill customer service into everybody because we have competition, right? And in order for you to have a leg up on your the person that on your competitor, you want to provide something nicer. You want to exceed the expectation. You want to provide a much better customer service experience or customer experience, so that they go and tell somebody else comes and they become your customer, and then you grow your customer base that way. So in the name of competition, we are programmed to be conscious of customer service, about the importance of customer service. If I service my customers, they're going to become repeat customers. They're going to tell one, and that one tells another one, and before you know it, you grow your base. That is why you do customer service, okay? Now, you could say it's just a human thing to be kind to other people. I believe that. Not everybody believes that, but that's beside the point. So who else is your customer? Our patients, of course, are our customers, because when the facility has like 50 empty beds, it's not good for us. And you know, it was amazing how sometimes when I was working, the census would be low and I would say, oh, that's not good, no bueno. And the staff were like, no, that's good. We want to have 20 empty beds because we have less work. And I'm like, they're just not understanding the concept of business. Because if you have too many empty beds, that means the revenues aren't coming. Next thing you know, you're going to have staff cuts. You're going to have reduction in wages. Some of these people are totally clueless as to how you do business. Somehow they think that what we're providing is like an act of charity. It's not. And that's why we have the perception nowadays in long-term care that it's all about business. And I say it's not all about business. Yes, it is about business, but it doesn't have to be only about business. Does that make sense? I want to make money, but I want to provide a superior service at the same time. Those people who are buying those nursing homes, they invest their millions, they expect something in return. When somebody wants to finance a large business, they go to what we call angel investors. You have people who are millionaire, billionaires, and they realize that the stock market is very unsafe. It's not steady, very labile. It goes up, moves up and down. So they're not guaranteed any return. You put your money in, you know how I remember in the 80s and 90s, you used to put your money in a savings account. You get like 5-7% return. Now it's like 0.5%. So if you have money, you don't want to have it sit in a bank and get nothing for it. So those people are called angel. That means they're saving the world. So sometimes it's one, sometimes it's a group of them say, okay, we're going to put our millions together. We're going to identify businesses who want financing. We're going to invest in those businesses in exchange for a percentage of the business, and we expect those returns. That's why companies, including nursing homes, it doesn't matter what kind of business you have, even if they say they're not for profit, like a big hospital system we have in my area, whether it's a charity, your books, you have to run it like a business. So when somebody says to me that, oh, it's all about business, it's the perception. But understand that underneath all that, who's paying your salary, who is paying the bills, are those people in the back who said, okay, I'm going to give you $50 million, but I'm giving you 5 years for me to recoup my investment plus that profit. It's an investment. It's business. Get it through your head. These nursing homes do not live on air. They have challenges. They have to become really good at understanding Medicare, how Medicare reimburses, okay? Because they have to show profit at the end. So your job as a supervisor is to make sure that admissions keep rolling in, that we discharge people when they're supposed to be discharged. We provide excellent service so that we can keep our reputation and people keep coming back, and you keep feeding and feeding. Your patients are your customers. The family members are your customers. If they're happy, they're going to tell their friends, and the friends are coming, keeps the business going. But I go one step further in saying that your staff, they are your customers too. Think about it. If you treat your staff well, they're going to tell their friends. The friends are going to come work for you. If you treat them nice, if you treat your nurses nice, when you short and you say, oh, I'm really dying here, can you do 4 hours here for me? Can you come back? They're going to come. They're going to help you. Now, there's a balance. We don't want you to overwork these nurses to the point where they are losing their mind, which is what we're having right now. The mental health issue, they're overworked. You have to look after your people. So your patients are your customers. The family members are your customers. The visitors are your customers. The vendors, the doctors, nurse practitioners, the lab technician, the people who clean, the housekeeping, the people who deliver the meals, everybody is a customer. And if you understand that you can win more people with honey than you do with anything else, if you're kind, and I'm going to talk about being fair at the same time. Just being nice and being aware of customer service doesn't mean you roll over and play dead and they can walk all over you. That's not what I mean. Okay? So keep that in mind. Customer service is so important. It's going to make your life easier. Learn to treat people right. Everybody. Au revoir. À la prochaine.